So, good evening, everybody. I will open my share screen. And then we will start. So, thank you very much, everybody, for being here tonight with us. And this is my sentence right now that I really got just before we started. We all co-create and co-write this universal story, and this will become much more clear in a while. This is really what I feel a long time, but since very short, I really feel that we truly do this. So in every single moment, we truly co-create what is going on right now. So we can also, that means we can also rewrite the story for what we all believe will happen. So we are here to change, to grow, develop, and unfold. We have an infinite capacity because we already know that our power is so strong and everything you believe is your creation. So if we start to understand that we are here to learn, to grow, and especially that last part, having fun, then we start to see everything more as actually very nice unfolding of a co-creation, actually. Your presence is a gift to the world, and never discourage anyone who continuously makes progress, no matter how slow. And I had to say this to myself many times along the journey. So 2 weeks ago, we invited Joy Martina, and tonight Aedith Hagenaar is here with us to elaborate more about healing from within, a different perspective on pain, illness, and health. A little bit more about me, but just very shortly, I just became 50. I live here with my partner. You see the picture. I'm just like Pippi. I have never tried that before, so I think I should definitely be able to do that. That's really my way of looking at life. Already since 2006, actually. At the moment, I live in this amazing village that you see on the right corner on top in Italy, in Umbria, actually, in the middle of nature. It was definitely a choice of quality of life. And since 2015, we live here. And along the way, I really know, because I experienced, that I am the creator of my life. And a very nice one also from Wayne Dyer. When you dance, your purpose is not to get to a certain place on the floor. It's to enjoy each step along the way. And I really try to implement that along the way. So a little bit more why we do this kind of interviews. I myself, I was involved in clinical trials in the pharmaceutical industry in 2012. I really got a rather interesting crash, a burnout, where I was lying in my bed for 5 weeks crying, and I was thinking, what am I really doing here? And so I developed an even deeper search of what is true quality of life. And at the moment, we are co-creating with many others on this question. So what is real wealth? It's truly health. That's what we at least came towards, and being healthy is even broader than just health. So the big theme of what we actually going through is, what can you do yourself in a natural and easy way? And that's why we do all these kind of interviews and webinars. We have a mission internationally. So with Reset Your Health, internationally we empower millions of people towards healthy being. And together with healthcare professionals like holistic doctors, therapists, coaches, and so on, we want to do that. And why do we do this? Because it's time to really co-create a conscious, healthy society for all of us, because we are truly responsible to co-create a better world for our next generation, our children, and if it's also possible for ourselves, of course. And every single day we co-create a little step in that process. So what is really true real wealth? So for me, in the end, it came towards daily quality of life. And then I started to question a lot. So what are the ingredients to contribute to that daily life quality, and what are the biggest influencers? So my search, as I said before, consciously started in 2012. So I started to read a lot about self-love, balance, inner peace, the magic of co-creation. I really saw that we are all unique, and so this question needs to be answered in a very unique way. And change is inevitable, but personal growth is truly, truly a choice. So my choice along the way, Stephen Covey was very, yeah, life-changing for me, actually, when I started to read his book in 2008. Also, Louise Hay came on my path, also through the tools of Aedith. And yeah, Wayne Dyer, his quote on change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change really opened my way a lot, because I started to develop an eye on what can I do myself. And I knew that there were many, many tools out there that we can use. So at the same time, the idea grew to share even more and to do this in a very nice way. So like a detox of stereotypitis, if that could be a disease, we could heal ourselves a lot from this, because I feel that too many of us are really too serious dealing with a lot. So today we want to tackle the healing from within with Aedith. And tonight we want to dialogue on different perspectives related to pain, illness, and health. And we want to invite you all to have an open mind to what we share, because we all know we have different perspectives. And so maybe some of the things can be a little bit crazy for you in the beginning, but just allow yourself to be open to it, and then afterwards just investigate more on the topics we will share with you. Edith, when we started to prepare this, you suddenly contacted me last week and you said, oh my God, I just experienced something very interesting, and probably this has to do with the preparation of our dialogue of next week. So tell us what happened.
Yeah, so last week I was in a hotel. I was away for business, and I spent the night in a hotel, and the hotel had a swimming pool and a sauna. And so my favorite sports is swimming. So I'd gone to the swimming pool, and afterwards I was having a sauna, and there was nobody else there. I was the only one. And as I entered the sauna, it was really nice and warm, and I was looking forward to it. And there was this this canister, which normally holds a lot of water, and you have a spoon, and then you spoon the water over the hot stones, so you get the moisture in the sauna room. But there was only a little bit of water left in it, and I couldn't spoon it out. So I made the interesting decision to take that thing and to turn it over and on the rocks. But obviously what happened is the water fell on the rocks. It immediately evaporated, and I have no idea how many degrees it was, but it came straight into my hand. So I was like, and I had, because I was completely naked, right? I mean, so I really had to keep my wits about me to think what I was doing, because was holding this thing, everything was hot, so I had to throw that away, but make sure nothing would hit me. And so I wasn't panicked, but my hand was completely burned and I was hurting so much. So I just try to stay cool and focusing on the pain. I left the sauna. What I knew to do when you have burns is that you have to put your hand under streaming warm water, as warm as possible. And luckily there were plenty of showers there. So I stood under a warm shower and let the water rinse over my hand. And the pain was excruciating. You have no idea. And it's strange because if you look now, I mean, I can see it, but you probably can't. Well, I'll show you later. But the pain was just excruciating. I was in that shower and that the hot water was running over it. And of course, a shower isn't like with a normal tap. It's more with a shower. It's more like tuck, 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 that the water. So it wasn't like smooth either. And it was hurting so much. And all I knew, so I thought, okay, I have two options. I can wrap myself into a towel and walk to the reception and call for an ambulance. Or I can just meditate and ask what needs to be done. So obviously the first thing I did was put my hand in the water, and then I was standing there and I was just focusing on the pain and being completely present with the pain to see, what the pain wanted or how my body wanted to be healed. And so I decided to stand there, to keep standing there, to keep it in the warm water. And then I noticed, so I was completely present. So I was also present with my thoughts. And I noticed the thoughts that were coming up in my head. And they were thoughts like, will I be able, how bad is it? Is the skin going to come off? Am I going to get blisters? Do I need to go to the hospital? And then, the pain is horrible. How long am I not going to be able to use this hand? Or actually, I'm phrasing it now as in questions, but obviously they weren't questions. It was more like, I'm not going to be able to use my hand. And then I would think, okay, this is a thought I have. And then I would investigate the thought. Is that true? I would just do, and I guess many people of you know the work from Byron Katie. So I did the work on everything that came up in my mind as I stood there in that shower, holding my hand in the water, under the streaming water. And so I'm not going to be able to use my hand for days. Is that true? Can I absolutely know that is true? And I couldn't know that. So it's the first thing you think is, oh my God, your brain is just so focused on everything that can go wrong, right? Even I've been working with positive affirmations for 30 years, but still something like that happens and you immediately focus on the worst case scenario. Actually, like, I'm not going to be able to use my hand. It's going to be hurting for weeks. I'm going to get blisters. I'm going to not be able to do things because of this. And on every little thought I had, I just did, and I had to stand there anyway. So I was present with the pain and did the work. So I'm not going to be able to use my hand. Is that true? Yeah. But can I absolutely know that that's true? No, I cannot. And what happens when you feel that, when you think that thought, I won't be able to use my hand? What happens then? Well, I want to cry. I panic. I mean, it's just, when you think that thought, you're like, oh my God. And then all these thoughts come of, what if I won't be able to use my hand? all those things I won't be able to do. I was on my own with the car. I mean, how would I be able to drive back? And so so that's what happens when you think that thought. It gets worse and worse and worse. And then the next question is, if you cannot think that thought, who would you be in this very moment? So in this very moment, well, in that very moment, if I could not think I'm not going to be able to use my hand, I would just be a woman in a shower rinsing my hand. I would probably still have pain, but I would be calm. I would be calm. I would be able to be present with the pain. I would be able to generate love and healing energy and send it to the pain, send it to my hand. And yeah, I would just not panic, right? I'd be calm and knowing what to do and meditate and connect with source and open for the messages to tell me what to do. And then finally you turn it around. So I'm not going to be able to use this hand for a week. I will be able to use my hand, or it's just my thinking that says I'm not going to be able to use my hand. So, like I said, I just stood there for about half an hour and did the work on everything that came up. And also I was just present with the pain because it was really hurting and actually when I say that, because it doesn't hurt anymore. So it's funny how you sort of don't remember the pain itself. I mean, I remember it hurting, but I can't remember the feeling. And also one of the things that Byron Katie says, pain is always in the moment, but it's always going. So you can, when you feel it now, you also know that what you feel now is going, and there could be new pain, but it's always going. And just being present with the pain really made me realize how we in our modern society are so ill-equipped, actually, to be present with things we do not like. And we have learned so much because, we've invented so many things, and we've taught ourselves that life is formable. I mean, that we are the rulers of life. I mean, right? If you get a pain somewhere, you just take a painkiller and the pain is gone. Or if you break a leg, you go to the hospital and they set your leg, and okay, maybe it takes a while, but then, they cast it and everything. But we're actually no longer used to living with discomfort and to being uncomfortable. And as I was thinking that, I was feeling the pain, and as I no longer had thoughts about the pain, so the pain is actually worse when you're thinking, this is painful and I shouldn't have this pain, and the pain is bad, and then you go into all these, oh my God, what's going to happen? But if you can just be present with the pain, you still feel it, but I mean, the pain isn't less, but it's like you're so connected to source that the pain can just be there, and you can just be with this uncomfortable pain feeling and still be completely calm, completely connected to source, completely loving, and even completely happy while you're in this excruciating pain. And I realized that because I had no longer had any thoughts at one point, when all my thoughts were, met with the work and met with the truth, and just being present with the pain gave me the option to actually heal from within. and to, like I said, to generate this healing force, which I call from within, because for me, source is within. So connecting to source, connecting to my higher being, connecting to love, and just loving the pain, just loving the pain and realizing that the pain is just a huge amount of energy going to the spots that need healing. And I can help that by sending healing energy, by sending my love, and by just being present. And in a way, who of you has kids? I see some hands going up. So some people have kids, and especially when the kids are younger, they can be, sometimes they can whine, right? And they go like, mommy, I want this, and they like pull your leg, and and you find it annoying, even though you love your kids. I love my kids, but sometimes they were just annoying when they were whining, right? And you just want them to go away, and you sort of, try and please them with something. And even sometimes you say, oh, you just have a candy and now go, or or do something else that makes them happy for a second. But what you're not doing is actually giving them what they really want, which is attention. So for a whining kid, if you stop being, as a mom or a dad, if you stop being selfish for a second and go down on your knees and go face to face with your child, look your child into the eyes and listen to what it has to say. Now, and then the child feels acknowledged, the child feels heard, the child feels seen. And maybe it costs more time and more energy than giving the child a candy, but there's little gems in there if you do it. There's a moments of happiness if you do it. I mean, it's the best gift you can give your child, but even apart from the child, what you do for yourself when you do this, it's connecting with your child. So you feel your love for your child, you're present with your child. That's actually a present that you give yourself, being present with your child. And listening, really listening to what it has to say, and then answering from source instead of answering from your mind, who's thinking, oh, how can I get this child out of my way as soon as possible? But answering from source. And then you may find that the child really isn't nagging or whining about wanting an ice cream, or that it hit his head or whatever, but that it just needed some love. It just needed some attention. Or maybe you yourself are the one who needed some love and some being in the moment, and your child is only servicing you to get out of your worries and to get out of your thoughts and to come back into the here and now and to connect with your child. And pain is similar. Pain is like forcing you to be in the here and now. And if you kill it with a painkiller, it's that you're doing the same as with your child when you give it some candy or so, okay, now go away because I've got things to worry about, I got stuff to do. And it's the same with the pain. But if you can be present with the pain, it's actually the entire experience was just, for me, was just a huge sourceful experience and a beautiful experience, even though the pain was horrible, and even though I had no idea what would happen, and if I really was able to heal it. And I must say now, so we're like 6 days later, I am absolutely astonished at how it healed. I really am. So I'm going to hold my hand in front of the camera, and let's see if you looking in. So you can see some red marks still here, but this was like completely red. So this got the worst part of it. And I didn't even get blisters. I got nothing. And I'm actually surprised myself at how well it healed. And so during this meditation, after about half an hour, I was in the shower, and then I felt, you have to go back into the sauna. So I was like, oh, wow, am I going to go back into the sauna? So I did. I went. Oh, and I must say, I didn't cry. And I'm not saying this, oh, look at me, I'm so good, I didn't cry. Now I actually surprised myself, because normally when something really hurts, and when it's so unexpected, right? So it really felt like an accident, like, oh my God, what just happened? That's the first thought. You're like, you feel this pain, you go like, what just happened? And what do I do now? And but I didn't cry. I was actually surprised with that. And so I got this notion that I had to go back into the sauna. So I went back into the sauna. The pain was horrible again, because obviously the sauna was really hot. And I stayed in the sauna for about 12 minutes until I felt I had to get out. So that's what I did. Then I went back into the swimming pool, because obviously I had to cool down. And then I went into my room. By that time, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I went into my room, and all I had with me was some facial oil that I use for my wrinkles. And so I thought, well, if I can use it for my wrinkles, I can probably use it for this as well. So I put the facial oil on it, and that was it. And I went to sleep. And so the next day I still had a bit of pain. But like I said, I think last time I felt something when I was, something touched it, was like Sunday or maybe even Monday. But like I said, I'm actually surprised myself. About the healing that took place, and how well it has healed. So wow. That's what I wanted to share about. And so this happened on Thursday, and when I went to bed Thursday night, I texted you, Heidi. I said, well, I had this accident, and this has to have been, for today. Because also what you do is you ask yourself, well, I'm going ahead of what I wanted to say later, but you ask yourself, what's the meaning of this? What's the message of this? And so for me, one of the meanings of this was to be able to have this experience, to be able to talk about it, but also to get my head much clearer, to get a much clearer insight into why pain is necessary, why we do end up with things, with pains or accidents or diseases and things like that. So yeah, that really got me going, thinking about this subject in a really different way and a deeper way. So that's what I wanted to share.
Amazing. So one of the things that came out of that, you thought, okay, I need to address the 3 essential steps also for healing that you came to towards then after this experience.
And so obviously when something like that happens, there's some things that that sometimes action is required. Like, for example, the very first thought I had was, okay, put it under warm running water. And then, and obviously if you have a cut and it's bleeding, you're not going to just first meditate. You're going to do something about it to, at least, calm the bleeding or whatever. So use your own judgments when I say the 3 steps. Sometimes action is necessary when it's urgent. But for example, when you have a disease and it's not urgent, in the sense that urgent, that something has to be done right now, then let me say this differently. So everybody always wants to get into action. So something happens to us and we go like, okay, what do we do now? Right. And get into that action mode. And like I said, okay, when you're bleeding or like when I had the burns, obviously there's something you have to do, but generally taking action is only the third step in the 3 steps for healing that I find are necessary. So action is actually the very last thing you do. And one of the reasons for that is that there's so many different kinds of things you can do. There's different kinds of actions you can do, or acts you can do. And how do you know which one is the right one? And, if you're just going to do that and do that and do that and do that, then, then you might even miss the one that's exactly right for you. So how do you take your decision? So that's why action is only in the third place. So the first step in healing is to align yourself with a completely healthy body. So to raise your vibration to the level of healing, of being healed, of health. And so you create a grid around yourself, a field around yourself, where the vibration is one of there which you want to be. So for instance, for me, what I also was doing when I was in the shower was thinking, what do I want? Right? Because do I want to have blisters? No. Do I want to not be able to use my hand? No. Do I want to have more pain? No. Do I want to go to the hospital? No. So what do I want? I want, my hand to be relaxed. I want my hand to be able to do everything. I want my skin to be smooth and healed. So when I think of that, so I didn't say that earlier, but that's part of that healing energy that I was sending to my hand, was actually the visualization of how I wanted my hand to be. And in a way, you're actually telling your cells how to behave. So if if I was worried about getting blisters, I would be thinking about blisters and I would be sending that message to the cells there. Oh, and since the cells, they don't, care in a way, they would go like, oh, she wants blisters. Oh, let's make blisters. Now I'm paraphrasing this a little bit, but when you're sending the vibes that go with a completely smooth skin, when you have the feeling, because when you think blisters, you feel agitated and scared, and but when you think smooth skin, you're relaxed and you're happy, and this is the vibration that you're then sending into your energy field around you, but also to your cells itself. So your cells sort of get, you can compare it to, so you've got a car and the car's run out of gasoline and you're there at the gas station, and your car needs normal gasoline 95, whatever, but there's the diesel thing. And so you put diesel into your car. Now what's going to happen? Your car's going to and drive for 10 minutes, and then your motor is going to be broken because you put in the wrong gasoline. You put diesel gasoline into your normal car. And so this is basically what happens to our bodies when we put diesel in, which is the negative thoughts. We're like giving the wrong message. We're giving the wrong energy into our bodies. Whereas if we give the right energy, so the right gasoline, the right thoughts, the positive thoughts, the happy thoughts, the thoughts of fulfillment, the thoughts of connection with source, the thoughts of love, the thoughts of perfection. Perfection in the sense that it is perfect, that this is happening right now. And because, you know, one of the thoughts was, oh, this shouldn't have happened, right? This should have happened. Is that true? Well, it happened. And if you think it shouldn't have happened, you know, you're going to be, yeah, but this should have happened. And maybe I don't know the exact reason yet, but this should have happened. And then you stay calm, you stay loving, you stay connected to source, and you stay, and that's when the healing energy can flow. So your very first step to healing is always to create a vibrational grid. And you create this grid by using affirmations. So thinking about, you know, what it is you actually want. So don't think, oh, I don't want blisters. No, you think smooth skin, relaxed hand. My hand can do everything. So don't even think no pain. Just think relaxed hand. My hand can do everything. You know, great feeling in my hand. Things like that. Then you actually visualize it. So you visualize just your hand the way you want it to be, or whatever it is, the disease you got, or whatever it is, you visualize how you want it to be. And then you feel, so you go to that, on the emotional level, you feel how you would feel when it already happens. So I was standing there with pain in my hand, but visualizing and feeling the happiness I would feel when my hand was healed. The happiness, the relief, the excitement, the freedom, the joy from, you know, having a completely healed hand, and feeling that. And that is how you build up that vibrational grid. And have I gotten all the steps? Yes. So affirmation, visualization, and the feeling. So that the vibration itself, you know, the vibration of your energy field. So that is step number one. Then step number two in healing is listening to the message. So, and you can do this in different ways. So, for example, where is your wound or your disease or whatever? So let's keep to my example of my hand. So it's in my hand. So something is with my hand. What is my hand trying to tell me? So I'm listening to what my hand is trying to tell me. Then it was a burn. So what is burning trying to tell me? What is this trying to tell me? But if you have a disease, for example, say you have a disease in your liver. So you think of, what is my liver trying to tell me? And then the disease itself, what is the disease trying to tell me? So you start to listen, and you can only do that from being completely connected. So you think of, okay, what is my hand telling me? A hand is all about taking action. Hand is all about manifesting. Hand is also about, this is what I actually use also for this is a table of correspondences. So you see what does the hand correspond with? And for example, the hand corresponds with the planet Mars and the god Mars. So that way you can see what kind of message, or what is Mars doing? Mars is the planet of action, of speed, of a go-getter, of battle, of war. So that is also what the hand stands for. So what could be my message? That, and burning. So in actually in Dutch, and this is also so interesting, that a lot of proverbs and sayings actually give you so many clues. So in Holland, we have a saying about burning your hands. So when you're burning your hands, it actually means you're going too fast, and you're not thinking things through. So so that's what I started thinking about. Okay, where am I going too fast? Where am I not thinking things through? Where am I just going action, 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 and doing stuff? And so that's really listening to your body part, listening to the ailment that's there, and what kind of message does it have for you. But you can only listen when you're completely aligned with source, when you feel that presence, when you feel that joy, that fulfillment, that happiness. And then you're sort of open to the messages, and you start to realize, and this is always personal. So you can never say, oh, the hand is always about the same thing for everybody. It's always a personal message. So if you focus on that, you get the message. But there's also another way of getting the message. If you have difficulty focusing, or if you just feel like I'm not really getting it. And there's two books that are very interesting for that. One is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and you already pointed out to that in the introduction. And she has many affirmations specifically suited to either diseases or body parts. And that tells you something about and so, for example, what I know, because I suffer from migraine, so I know her migraine affirmation by heart, which is, I release myself into the flow of life and let the universe provide everything I need easily and comfortably. So migraine, the message of migraine is all about letting go and letting the universe provide everything you need, and trust that everything you need will be provided. So that's just one example. But there's also another book by Christian Bierland, and I actually don't know the English title. The Dutch title is also don't remember right now, but maybe other people know it. But anyway, Christian Bierland, it's like a really thick book where she describes that's it, sleutel tot zelfbevrijding. That's it, exactly. And where she describes the psychological reason for many illnesses, but also for body parts. So you can actually go there to see or to get even more messages from what actually is this body part telling me, or what is this disease telling me. And then once you have those messages, then you can start specific healing on that. And we're still in step 2. So step 2 is listening to the messages and healing, or doing what the messages are saying. So healing that part of you. And that healing works in a similar way to step 1. So you use affirmations, you use visualization, but here you can also say, okay, well, so for example, let's take my migraines. Actually, I've never done this. Maybe I should have done it, but okay, take my migraines. So the lesson for the migraine is I should relax more and trust the universe more. Then, for example, you could go to a healer and say, I want to work specifically on my trust issues. Just as an example, right? So you can take that and start healing on the vibrational level and on the psychological level. So that's step 2. Now, and by the way, we haven't discussed if there's any questions or something. People can ask the questions in the chat. So let me know if there's questions you have right now, or if things are not clear, because then I'm going to move over to step 3. And step 3 is, like I said, where you take the physical action, where you say, okay, now I've built up my vibration, I've listened to the message, I've done some healing on what the message was saying. Now I'm going to do the physical healing itself. And that means taking a decision on what course of action I'm going to take, or what courses of action I'm going to take, because there could be more. But the point is, once you have set your vibration in, and the energy field around you is already, 100%, and you can feel it in yourself, that you just know that you will be healed. Like for example, for me, at one point, I knew it's done, it's healed, and it will take some time physically to heal, but I knew I had it in my vibration. I knew it was there. I just knew it. I don't know how else to explain it. I just knew it. So it was in my grid, in my energy field. And then you get attracted to the right course of action. So you could find that, okay, I need to take this medicine, or I need to start eating this, or I need to stop eating that, or I need to go to this and this healer, or I need to have an operation, or I'm going to do chemotherapy, or I'm not going to do chemotherapy, or I'm not going to have the operation, right? These decisions, when you are in a fearful place of, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to hurt, I'm going to maybe even die. When you're in this fearful place, you cannot take sound decisions. You don't have sound source judgment. The only way to find out what truly is the best remedy for you is to be connected to source, is to be in this field of knowing that you're healed. Now, there's one thing I have to add to that, and that is, you cannot have any judgments on whatever remedy at all. So if you have a judgment on chemotherapy, how do you know if chemotherapy is not the right way for you? Or if you have a judgment on Reiki, for example, how do you know Reiki is not the right way for you? So you have to be completely open-minded and let yourself be guided, and you will get the messages, and you will be guided to the exact things that are right for your healing. And if it is chemotherapy, it is. If it is getting a vaccination, so be it. If it is using painkillers, that's also fine. Yeah, but take that decision from a place of having created your energy field, and from a place of connection with source. And that's the only way to know what the right course of action is for you. And then, like I said, there could be more courses of action. So we know, the course of action in the sense of going to the hospital, or getting painkillers, or getting medication, or getting a vaccination, or an operation, or what have you. But obviously, there's also many different kinds of healing modalities that also work in different levels. So, for example, and they can even help increase your vibration. So, for example, if you do tapping, or EFT, it's also called, the tapping, that can be used for physical healing, but it can also be used to increase your vibration. And the same, and so, yeah, that's just one example. But also, yeah, I think I forgot to mention that in the part where you increase your vibration, there's also many tools apart from what I said, the affirmation and visualization. There's also some other tools you can use for that. So you can use the tapping to increase your vibration. You can use crystals to increase your vibration, but you can also use crystals for healing. You can use, well, like I said, tapping. I don't know where my head's gone right now. Can't remember all the other things that I always think about doing. But like, for example, the Journey by Brandon Bays. She healed herself from cancer doing that, doing the Journey. So, and the work, Byron Katie doesn't say that it can actually heal, but there have been people that have healed just by using the work. And so when I was about 20, 21 years old, I was diagnosed with cancer. And the funny thing is, I learned about affirmations when I was about 18 years old, and I started using affirmations. And do you remember when you're that young, you feel like sort of you can conquer the world and you're a bit arrogant? And so the doctor told me, okay, well, this is the schedule, this is the plan that we're going to do. You're going to go to the hospital, and then this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And I remember when the doctor told me you've got cancer, and I remember for just a split second, I was in complete panic, right? And then I decided, and it was so funny. I'm not saying this logically, but what I wanted to say is that now I'm so much older, and I know I'm not so naive and arrogant anymore. I probably would never do this. But it was actually really good that I was so naive and arrogant at that point, because I remember thinking, so I remember panicking, and then the second after, I remember thinking, hey, I decide about my body. I decide, what happens to my body, and I decide how I'm going to get better. So I walked out of that doctor's office, and I never went back. But what I did do, and I didn't have that Christian Beerland book yet, but I did do everything that I just told you. So I was, looking at where do I have the cancer? What does that tell me? So I was healing that. I was just adjusting my vibration. Didn't have that word vibration yet at that time, because we're talking a long time ago. But I was affirming, and I was just, creating that grit around me of health. And like I said, I never went back. I was so sure that I was just going to be healed. And it took me about 6 months that I was working on this. And after that, I never looked back. But I also never went to the doctor. So I never got, like a result of that it's gone or something. But, I'm still here. So I'm guessing I'm pretty good. But why am I telling this? Sometimes you need that arrogance and that naivete, because we've seen, it go wrong with so many people so often. But no, I don't even remember why I was telling this. But anyway, I wanted to share, I guess, the power of your mind. And the power of decision making. And it's a decision also. It's my body. I decide. And for everybody who is listening or watching and has a really severe disease of which they can die, the most important decision that you have to make is whether or not you want to live. And not survive, live. do you really want to live? That's a decision you have to ask yourself. And maybe it's not just for diseases that could kill you. Maybe it's for everything, right? I want to live. I want not just survive. I want to live. I want to use this body so I can do the things I want to do, so I can live, So yeah.
Wow.
I've been talking a long time.
Powerful, powerful. Yeah. It's truly a very important question to ask every time again as something comes along, like a pain, an illness,
Yeah.
or any topic that is passing by, and you feel your energy field is going down, actually. But especially at these moments that you really feel like, okay, I get a message here. So this is something else that you wanted to say, but do you really want to elaborate still on the message of illness?
Yeah, on why, on the big
On
why,
why?
because
Yeah.
that's, I also asked myself this why. I was having such a great time. I swam for an hour. I felt really good. I was like, oh, I was looking forward to that sauna. I felt so good. And then that happens. You're like, why? And so there's always this big why that we're asking, and why can be a really dangerous question. Because if you say, why do I get this illness? Then, or why am I sick? Then you're focusing on the sick, you're focusing on the illness, you're focusing on everything that's wrong with yourself. And you're actually forcing your brain, because you're asking a question and your brain goes, oh, we got a question, let's go and answer that. So you ask your brain, you ask yourself, oh, why did I get cancer? And then your brain comes up with the weirdest answers, right? It could go like, yeah, because you're a bitch, or because you've done something wrong, or because you're guilty, or because, and it keeps focusing on cancer, and it keeps finding answers. Why did I get cancer? So that why question is really dangerous to ask yourself. But I do understand why people want to ask that question, because everybody just wants to be happy, right, and healthy. Why do we have diseases in the first place? But here's the thing, it's a way for you to grow, and that's every single disease. The reason why it's there is for your growth. It's for your growth as a person. It's for your growth in vibration. It's for your growth in love. It's for you. It's just for you. It's for you to become more than you could ever be without that disease, than you could ever be than without that pain. And if you focus on why you do not want it, you're foregoing I don't want to use the word lesson, because I don't feel that it's a lesson, because a lesson is almost like, oh yeah, I was doing things wrong and now I have to learn this lesson, and the pain is teaching me a lesson. I don't believe in that. But you don't forgo the lesson, but you forgo the beauty. You forgo, because when you're not there yet, when you're at this vibration, for example, you have no idea what it feels like to be able to vibrate at a higher vibration. So you don't really think about, ooh, let's get a higher vibration. I'm happy here, right? I'm content, I'm fine. And then you get this disease and you go like, ooh, shoot, but the disease is actually, this is also a big part of the why. The disease forces you to focus. So with this hand, I was forced to focus. I was forced to not do anything else except focus on that. And so when you live your life normally, you may even think, oh yeah, it's good to have a higher vibration. So you slowly increase your vibration, you meditate, and maybe you do some healing every now and then. But when you got a disease and it's really crippling, or it's, you could potentially die from it, then you sort of wake up and you go like, oh my gosh, I have to do something about this now. And then you go like, okay, now I'm gonna pay the money for the healer. I'm not gonna, not gonna think, oh no, is it worth it? Or no, let's not do it this month. No, you're gonna pay the money for the healer because you want to live, right? And you're gonna do those meditations because now you've got, like, normally every morning you're like, oh yeah, no, not this morning. I don't feel like it. I want to stay in bed for 30 more minutes. But now you're going to be like, yes, I'm going to meditate. Yes, the Wim Hof thing, I forgot about that. So the action part, right? The breathing and the cold showers. So that was still part of action that you can take. So yeah, you can think, oh no, I don't feel like taking a cold shower. But so when I was doing a course with Wim Hof a few months ago, and there was this guy from the UK, and I don't remember exactly what the disease was that he had, but it was like an old people's disease that people normally get when they're 70. And it was like joint pain, but it started with him when he was 18, and he had severe medication to repress the pain. And he said he didn't want to live like that, because also the meditation sort of sedated him and he wasn't able to really live the life he wanted to live. So he also started doing the cold showers and the cold baths and the breathing exercises that Wim Hof teaches. And within about a year and a half of doing that, he was able to completely let go of his medication. And he was pain-free, but yeah, he did have to, have regular cold baths, cold shower every day, and the breathing exercises every day. But that actually made him more alive than what he was before he was doing the cold showers and the cold baths and the breathing exercises. So yeah, so in normal life, you go like, oh no, I don't feel like doing that cold shower, I'm not doing it. Or, oh yeah, no, today I'm skipping the breathing exercise, today I'm skipping my meditation. Or, oh, I don't feel like doing the affirmations today, so won't do them. But when you've got a disease, or when you're in pain, or, then you sort of, you're with your back against the wall, you have no option, you have to do something. And that's, it's like the universe is forcing you to focus. And that really is the great gift of diseases or accidents or whatever, or pain. The great gift in that is that you focus, and that you also discover the force and the power that you have, the actual power that you have, the healing power that you have. You discover how you can grow in vibration, how you can grow in love. You discover how you are actually capable of commanding your body, how you are capable of shaping the life that you really want, how you're capable to live fully instead of just living, right? Just going with your day, doing your day-to-day chores, but to live, to be in the moment, to appreciate. Nothing that can make you appreciate a healthy body more is a body in pain, or a sick body. And nothing can make you appreciate life more is the threat of dying. So it really focuses you on living, on loving, on raising your vibration. So that really is the big why of diseases.
Wow. It's an invitation for you to live, actually.
It's an invitation to live. Yeah. And maybe to think differently about, like I said, about the judgments that you have. Judgments both ways, judgments to the alternative healing modalities and judgment to the regular or scientific healing modalities. There shouldn't be a judgment. You know, if you look at it from a source perspective, would source hate chemotherapy? Would source be against vaccinations? Source loves everything. Source includes everything. So source loves medication. Source loves vaccinations. Source loves chemotherapy. It doesn't mean that it's your way. That's your free decision and your free choice from connection with source. But yeah, like I said, source is love. Source is acceptance. Source loves the people who invented those things. And for many, many years in my life, I was against medication, against, doctors, whatever. And I suffered from those migraines, but I never took painkillers. And sometimes I remember on one of my kids' birthday parties that I had this huge migraine and my eyes were like completely like this. And I just kept tearing because the pressure was just so immense that I kept tearing. And when the kids' parents came and picked up their kids, they were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I hadn't even realized how horrible I was looking, because obviously the kids didn't realize. And I was like, yeah, I had a super migraine. And, sometimes people were like, "Oh, why didn't you take painkillers?" Or at other moments, I remember I was with some friends. We were in Belgium. It was beautiful weather and I had hay fever and I just kept sneezing and tearing up. And I couldn't be, having fun with everybody. And somebody was offering me their pills. And I was like, no, I don't take any pills. I'm not doing that. And because I was so against it. But when you realize the people who invented that, when they invented that, they were inspired by source. It's source who has made this possible. I mean, if it weren't meant to be, then it wouldn't have existed, right? So there is painkillers and you can use it if you're not able, because sometimes you're not able to increase your vibration. Sometimes you're not able to, and even if you are, it could be just your decision from source, a decision from a point of love. I'm going to make it easy on my body. As long as you also contrast it with other moments where you do listen to your pain or where you do listen to your, right? So yeah, I hope I made this clear. There is no or. Like last Thursday when I decided not to go to a hospital and to do it myself, that wasn't a decision based on, ooh, I don't want to go to the doctors or I don't want to go to the hospital. What are they going to do? And blah, blah, blah. No, it was a decision from, I've got this. I can do this myself. I'm 100% sure. And if I had felt you have to go to the hospital, that's what I would have done. So, yeah.
I really like this dialogue about this other point of view, that when you come really from that point of source, then you really can make a choice that fits with how you, what is right for you at that moment, or what feels like from this connection. And I think that's the strongest thing you can do at that moment for yourself, not to blame yourself and not to be blamed for your choice also by other persons, because that's the biggest word that is out there right now. I think it's respecting on we we can never understand anybody's choices if we are not really them. So
Yeah,
it's important to respect everyone's choice and everybody's
exactly. Yeah,
direction. Or so I think that's a very big message now for the world.
yeah,
There are many different ways.
yeah. What I would also like to add, because I know there's people worried about vaccinations becoming obligatory.
Mm,
And there's, first of all, the most important thing to do for you right now is to create the grid around you and the vibration around you, that you live in a world of free choice, that
correct.
you can do with you can decide for your own body. However, if you do end up in a world, because there are many parallel universes, and you decide where you end up, and you decide that with your focus. So if you focus on everything that you're scared of, that's basically where you're going to go to. But if you do end up in a world where vaccinations are going to be obligatory, then do the same as like what I just said with diseases. So something's going to get into your body, but hey, you're the boss of your body. You can decide that it just has no effect whatsoever. Yeah, you can just visualize it going through, and you can visualize your own health. And if you set because I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid. I'm stronger than a vaccination, aren't I? And at least my mind is stronger than my body is stronger as well. But I decide how my body responds. And if it were obligatory that I get a vaccination, then I will, create a grid where the vaccination cannot affect me in whatever way. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add for people who are a bit apprehensive about that. Yeah. But sorry, I didn't
Let's
know if
be
you had
clear.
another question.
No. For me, it's clear. I live in a world of freedom. It's like heaven on earth, and right now I live here in that kind of setting, and whatever is coming, I can handle. Like, okay, so then there is no fear of anything. So
Yeah.
at least that's my way of looking and living it right now. And that's my choice of coming here, selling everything in Belgium and like 6 years ago, because I felt better in the middle of nature. And so
Yeah.
that's why I made this choice. And that's why I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And so I decided really to live and to live it fully. And now I'm here, and I feel like, oh, I'm better here than I would have been in a city where a lot of other energies are around me. But that's probably why I made that decision 6 years ago. So it's like we all make decisions every single day. I always say that. And we sometimes are not really conscious and focused on the decisions we make every day. And then sometimes we end up in a situation that we think, how do we end up here? And
Yeah.
then we look back at all the decisions we made, and then we can suddenly shift everything and say, okay, as of today, like you said, and then that can be as of a disease. For me, it was like first a terrible divorce, and then like this burnout. I was completely crushed, like 5 weeks crying. I was really listening. I was saying, okay, on the outside everything is there, but the inside is definitely not in balance with the outside. So what do I need to do? I need to listen. And then when I came out of that, I took very strong decisions, like you did when you left the doctor's office and you said, okay, no, I got this. So, but it's for all of us, it's different, but there are choices. And sometimes when we look at the media, in many cases, well, we don't look at any television since 6 years, to be clear on that. But we get news through social media, through other channels, but we can make a choice on what
Yeah.
we allow and not. So it's just a way to look at it. And so when we really only look at the media right now, we tend to make decisions aligned with that stream. So, and it's every time good to feel, manifest, all of the steps is really important for any choice you make, actually. So it's not only the healing process, but it's actually a good. I made a lot of notes, so I will add these notes in the follow-up email, just for the people to remember a little bit on what we actually talked about. But
Yeah.
for me, it's like, yeah, at any given moment, it's never a good decision to act from fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
So, but we
It's
tend to
always,
do
yeah.
that a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
So, and when we capture ourselves in that moment, like Stephen Covey in his book also says, there is reaction and action, and so what do you do? So in between, there is some space where you can really, yeah, have all these steps.
Yeah.
So, are there questions? Is there anything you still want to share, Edith? So, like,
Well, what I did want to say
finish.
is, oh, I wanted to read something that I wrote down a long time or a while ago that I stumbled upon today. Why do women have PMS? So why do women have premenstrual syndrome? And it is because they have to work on themselves. It's not the hormones, it's the soul that cries out.
Wow.
Heal within, do inquiry, atone with source. And if you look back in what indigenous people or people who still live in nature, all the women generally have their period at the same time, and they all come together in a hut, um, and that's where they heal each other and heal themselves. So it's a period of healing. And so in our society now, we feel like, oh yeah, I have PMS, it's my hormones coming up. But no, it's actually your soul crying out, saying, okay, it's time for healing, it's time to take a step back from the outside world and heal within, and align with source and atone to your higher being. So meditate. So that's really the message, I think, on PMS. And what I also wanted to add is that I will have made a audio with the 3 most important healing affirmations, and we will send that out with your email in the replay link tomorrow, so everybody gets that, can download that, and put them on your iPhone and listen to them and work with them.
Wow. Thank you. Wow. Are there
I guess
questions?
somebody has
That's
a
it. Yeah.
question. Yeah.
We can also just unmute and ask the question, because we are not with too many. So, nobody a question.
Well, then it was clear, I guess. Was there something else that we wrote down ahead that we didn't get to discuss, or?
No, there was one title that I see now, and I'm reflecting on it. Did you mention it or not? And is it actually? I will say it's why you should actually take the vaccine.
Why you should take
You
the vaccine?
wrote it like this. Yes.
No. What I wrote is
it like this.
the vaccine that you should take. That is, yes, that's good. Yeah, almost forgot that I was going to address that. So whether or not you're going to take the COVID vaccine, you should take this vaccine. And that vaccine you should take every single day. And that's the vaccine of joy. Because joy is the best vaccine
True.
for any disease. Seriously, joy. And joy is not just, not just laughing or having fun. Joy is actually, like Stephen or what Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. So what brings you joy in the moment? And I have my own business. I love that I get to set my own schedule. So I can actually every time go like, what brings me joy in the moment? And that could be cleaning up my office, or it could be going for a walk, or it could be writing a text, or it could be doing something marketing, but if you follow your joy, you're always doing joyful things. And even, I even find doing my finances joyful. So then you just have a completely joyful life, and that really helps you. And that also has to do with living your soul mission. So living your soul mission, when you live your soul mission, when you contribute to the earth that which your soul wanted to contribute, or contribute to humanity that which your soul wanted to contribute to the world, then the universe will support you. So the universe will support you financially, but the universe will also support you physically in terms of health. So if you really, and here's a difficult thing to say, because you cannot say, so people who get sick are not living their soul mission. That's not it. But if you are so living your soul mission and really contributing, then, there's no, it's like moms, right? Moms hardly ever get sick. Everybody in the family, and who knows this, right? I mean, if you've been a mom, you know it. Kids get sick, and your husband gets sick, and everybody, dog gets sick, everybody gets sick, but the mom never gets sick. Maybe he gets a little sniff, but the mom never gets sick. But that's also because, the mission of a mom is also to serve her family. So that is such a strong energy that it will guide her to the path of where there's no disease. It will keep her away from the disease. So that's basically how it works when you live your soul mission, when you're really contributing to the earth that which your soul wants to contribute. Then, the path just opens for you. And like I said, it's not about pointing fingers but there's many people who have, for example, had cancer, who from then on changed their lives and said, yeah, now I'm going to do what I want to do, right? Now I'm going to live my soul mission. Now I'm going to give up that job and start the company I wanted to start, or now I'm going to sell that house and I'm going to go live in Italy. I'm not saying that was you, but as an example, right?
Yeah.
So that is, like I said, one of the reasons for disease is to focus, but it's also to live and not to survive, because surviving is about, just doing your daily chores, but living is about being joyful.
Completely agree. It's like the mantra, life is a struggle, and then we just transform that in life is magic.
Yeah.
If you really dare to live. So yeah. Thank you very much. It was really amazing as usual. So
thank you for making this possible, Heidi.
Without you, I couldn't do this. So I just I wanted to play with you, so and do the things we like and follow our bliss and just do this. So I look forward to share this with many more people. So we will put the replay link in the email then, and probably you, Edith, will make again like a nice like YouTube, and you will put it on your YouTube channel, and then we can spread it with many more people. Yeah, it's such an important message for many. So thank you very much for everybody who was here today with us.
Great.
I will.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.